in God's presence. How's this? Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, wherever you are, God is. So it's really neat to really take these words to heart. Wherever I am, God is. Well, what's that really mean? That's where that peace, that comfort, that joy, that love, that creativity is nearer than hands and feet. It's within our hearts. Awesome song. Took a while to unfold, but then it came along real good, didn't it? To get everybody up on stage. That's a joke. You guys were so raucous a minute ago, and now we're getting serious. Okay, so we're doing a series on parables this month. And last week, Cindy did a very enlightening interpretation of a parable, and it's on our YouTube. And if you missed it, I would say check it out. She took this parable and then broke it down into 4 levels of consciousness, bringing it right home to us. So thank you, Cindy. That was awesome. So parables. Parables are earthly story with a heavenly or spiritual meaning. So when Jesus was telling parables, he was telling stories, he was telling experiences that all the people could relate to on some level. So that's why he spoke in parables for those with ears to hear. So I'm going to do a parable today, and it's the parable of the Good Samaritan. And so let's just jump into it right off the bat. So this is in chapter 136 in the aquarium. And once again, Jesus is teaching in the temple. The temple's got lots of different rooms and courtyards and stuff, so he's teaching an aspect of the temple on the Sabbath. As Jesus stood again within the temple courts and taught, a master of the law was sent to question him, that he might find a cause to censure or accuse him of crime. He said, "Lord, tell me what to do that I may have eternal life." Jesus said, "You know the law. What does it say?" The lawyer answered, "You shall love the Lord with your whole heart, with your whole soul, and with your whole strength, and with your whole mind. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself." And Jesus said, "Lo, you've the answer well. Do this and you shall live." The lawyer says, "Who is my neighbor?" And Jesus said, so now he's going to tell a story. So let's just get this. We're all in the temple. Okay? And this master teacher, Jesus, is going to tell us a story. So let's all just be attentive and listen to the truth that he's going to share with us. Once upon a time, there was a man going from Jerusalem to Jericho, and lo, he met with robbers on the way, who beat him, robbed him of his goods, and left him bleeding by the side of the road. A Pharisee was going down that way. He saw the wounded man, but then he had no time to lose. He passed by on the other side. A Levite came and saw the man, but he was loath to toil his sacred garments, and he passed by. A lawyer on the way to Jericho observed the dying man, and then he said, "If I could make a shekel, I might help the man. But he's nothing left to give. I've no time for charity." And he passed on. And then a stranger from Samaria came that way. He saw the wounded man. His heart was touched with pity, and he stopped, dismounted from his horse, revived the man, placed him on his horse, and took him to an inn, and charged the innkeeper to nurse him back to strength. He gave the keeper all the money that he had and said, "Your charges may be more than this, but care for this unfortunate one, and when I come again, I will pay all." And then he went his way. Pretty nice story, huh? Now the master of the law, this is Jesus, now master of the law, which of these 4 was neighbor unto him who fell among the thieves? The lawyer said, "The man who showed him mercy, he who cared for him." And Jesus said, "Go on your way, and likewise do, and you shall live." Go on your way, and do what you need to do. So now we'll just kind of look at it metaphysically. Because it's all about us, isn't it? So a man on his journey from Jerusalem to Jericho is robbed. So we don't know what the whole scenario or backstory is to that, but he needs some help. Okay, a Pharisee comes along. And Pharisees represent judgment and the law. And he didn't have any time to help his brother. Now, all throughout the New Testament and the Bible, these Pharisees are pretty self-righteous, wouldn't you think? They were always looking out for themselves and looking out for how the people could serve him. So he was worried about his religious belief. And his belief made him right, or more important. But mostly, it made him self-righteous. So one who was self-righteous passed by our brother in need. We can look at our world, we can look at ourselves, and perhaps if we do a little inventory or open our eyes, we could see where self-righteousness isn't that good of a quality to support brotherhood. Because a lot of people and countries and entities are self-righteous maybe because of their country, maybe because of their gender, maybe because of their education, maybe because of their religion. And they separate from the whole. They become self-righteous in their belief system, and that belief system is creating their reality. They don't have time. They don't have time. The second person that came by was a Levi, and they were the priests, and they represent the religious law. The Pharisee, the religious belief, the Levite, the priest, represents the religious law. And this is kind of a self-elevating consciousness. You see, because I know the law, I'm kind of above y'all. And you see, it's against the law for me to get my sacred clothes dirty, and I can't touch blood. Sorry. You know, the people, y'all are sitting out here, and you know these people, and you go, yeah, Levite would act like that, or, yeah, those Pharisees are pretty self-righteous. I can see him doing that. And so what we have to do is look at, once again, the laws that we place before ourselves to live by. And if our laws are to the detriment of our brother, if the laws that we hold about ourselves elevate ourselves above others, because we are the family of men, and we are one. When one is helped, all are helped. We are one. So to look at the laws, not just the religious laws, but we all have lots of personal laws that we hold people and places and things to standards. And perhaps those laws might be detrimental or hurt our brothers and sisters. So to begin to look at the laws that we live by, and are they supporting our brotherhood? The next person that came by was a lawyer, and I think Jesus was really aware. But the lawyer says, I'd help this guy, but I know he doesn't have any money. he's in some books in the Bible, they leave him naked. And so people can't even get his identity because the clothing was identifiable to a certain sex and things like that. So the lawyer comes by and says, he doesn't have any money. I just don't know if I have time for any pro bono work this day. So the lawyer is coming from a consciousness of self-serving. He might help a brother if there's a payoff. If there's something for him in it. What we can all look at is in our life. I think that our walk and our opportunity is for us to begin to let go. To let go of our little self. To begin to move into our bigger self. To understand our small I am. But that's just a step to our bigger, the big I am. The love I am, the light I am. So the life that we live, the manifestation, the expression that we take and look at our brothers and sisters, and maybe look at them as, what can I get from this relationship? What can I get from this person? What can I get from this experience? It's all about me, and that's self-serving. This is just a story. None of us are those three, you see. Here's a big one. Then a Samaritan came by, a Samaritan, and it says the Samaritan passed by and his heart was touched. His heart was touched. He gets off his horse, helps the man back up on his horse, ministers to him, takes him to an inn, pays the innkeeper to take care of him, tells him it might take more. When I come back this way again, I'm going to pay you. And then he gets back on his path. Gets back on his path. And that's really neat to understand, is a lot of times we're asked to look at and deal with that which comes across our path. A lot of times we don't have to go out and look for what we think we need. The universe is going to bring it to us. See, we live in a loving, supportive universe. So the Good Samaritan, you know, and here y'all, we're in this crowd, and we can relate to the Pharisee. We know they're pretty self-righteous. We can relate to the Levite. Yeah, they think they're better than we are. We can relate to the lawyer. Yeah, those guys are all about making money. And now the Samaritan comes in. The Jewish people do not like the Samaritan people because they're their brethren, but they're made up of the 10 lost tribes that were captured by the Syrians and taken back to these other countries and were in captivity for hundreds of years. And then they married. They still held to their faith. They had a very pure faith also in doctrine. But you see, at the time, Jewish people, you couldn't go into a house of someone who wasn't Jewish. And you certainly didn't eat with any. And so they were really judging these Samaritan people bad. They didn't like them. And so Jesus is kind of introducing someone that's really going to go, what's going on? Why is he talking about a Samaritan? And then the kicker, the Samaritan's the hero. The Samaritan's hero. So it's to look at that humble heart of the Samaritan. You know, they all passed our neighbor on the side of the road. The Pharisee's heart was quickened. He saw. And he kept going. The Levite saw, see, the awareness, that humble heart that Christ within us all sees. We're aware. And the lawyer saw. And the Samaritan saw. And the Samaritan was the humble one that followed his heart and became that good neighbor. So, self-righteous beliefs do not serve brotherhood. Self-elevation, when we separate from others and think we're better, that doesn't support our brotherhood. And self-serving, What's in it for my gain? None of these qualities create a good neighbor. Jesus is showing that a loving heart, even in a lowly Samaritan, can be a good neighbor. A loving heart, a humble heart, even in a Samaritan, can be a good neighbor. And what Jesus is teaching them, he's the master teacher. And now he's teaching them about the highest law. He's trying to raise their level of consciousness. And the highest law is the law of love. See, the law of love should supersede our beliefs. The law of love should supersede our laws of right. And the law of love is going to elevate us into an unselfish or selfless expression of God rather than a self-serving expression of God. So he's trying to lift them to a higher law. He's telling them a different way that they can begin to act. So then he says, Master of the law, who do you think was the good neighbor? Who do you think was the good neighbor? And the master of the law says, the Samaritan. Everyone there knew it was. Because he followed his heart. And he did that brotherly, loving, compassionate expression of the truth of who he was. And then Jesus says to him, go your way and do likewise, and you shall live. Go your way and do likewise, and you shall live. I think when we're all walking on this path of life, as we begin to lift our consciousness, lift our focusness into love, see, we're going to lift out these lower chakras where it's all about me and our survival and our security and our need to be cool, to move up into that heart, that space of unconditional love. And now we begin to live at that level. Jesus was trying to lift them. Jesus was trying to lift the people. If we look back at that culture, they were in survival mode. Times were tough. But as we grow and unfold and expand in our consciousness, we raise our level of awareness, and now we have opportunities to actually function at the higher laws that we know. That's what it is ours to do. That's what's ours to do. As we begin to look at the laws that we hold to be true in our life and our world, I think it's a good thing to begin to question that which serves my higher purpose. As we come here for a soul journey, we come here for our soul. We don't come here for the world. We don't come here for the gain. We come here for the good of the whole. We came here to make planet Earth a better place to live. It's like to come here and leave this planet a better place than when we came. And the guidance, the directive that Jesus gave us all was to begin to go into our hearts. Go into our hearts. Seek that guidance. And then when we get that guidance, follow it. And if the lowly Samaritan can listen to his heart, respond from his heart, can't we all? Can't we all? And to have, eternal life. Master, how can I have eternal life? Say, what is eternal life? Eternal life is that continuum of life where we can truly find the value of spirit in all life. To find the value of spirit in all life. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever you are, God is. And as we begin to look at one another like that, That's when we begin to lift. Because it automatically lifts us into a higher level of awareness. And then those laws that operate in that higher level of awareness are the ones that are going to direct us. And then, when we're faced with something on our path, and our heart quickens a little bit, that's when we can go, what's mine to do here, God? See, what's mine to do here? And then follow our heart, what's the guidance? And then get back on our path. So get back on our path. The Good Samaritan didn't sit at the bed of that poor robbed person for months at a time. Do you see? He did what was his to do, and then he got back on his path. And how many times have we got off our path for someone else? Does anybody here raise their hand? Okay, everybody raise their hand. We've all got off our path. Okay? So the teaching is, deal with what's on your path and get on. You see? Keep moving. That's growth, that's evolution. That's the higher law that Jesus is trying to take people to transcend our mortality and this 20 years to eternal. So what are the qualities and characteristics that I'm going to feed? Am I going to feed my self-righteousness? Am I going to feed my self-elevation? Am I going to feed my self-elevation? How far down the path is that going to take me in the continuum of life into eternity? Or am I going to feed the Christ within? You know, it's like we all have the Christ within. And we all have Judas within. And Judas betrays the Christ. Judas seeks to control spirit. Each one of those people that passed, their heart was quickened. And their ego, you see? Their ego identity directed the choice that they knew. And so that's our mission, if we should choose to accept it. To realize that we do have a heart. And within that heart is the highest guidance that's just for us. To keep us navigating matter on our path. And help those who can help in whatever way we can. You know, we're a small church. Growing every day. And with beautiful souls and big hearts. And this used to trouble us for a long time. Being a church, people call churches a lot of time for help and assistance and things like that. And we were real small, and we just didn't have this bank account to give people to rent an apartment for a month and all this other stuff. And we were worried. Not really worried, but you know, some of that old race consciousness and memories that we're trying to unhook from, kind of going, And so what we did, so what we did, because we'd always, you know, talk with them and pray with them to kind of lift up their consciousness. But when somebody's hungry, they want food. So what happened is, in our discussions and everything, well, we sent Bonnie to a little workshop. And it was so that she could learn about all the services that North Fulton County and different organizations have for people in these dire straits. You know, because we knew of one church, one bigger church, that this man who was kind of like one of the leaders in that said, hey, send us over here. We've got a lot of people and a lot of money to do this and everything. So we had one little thing. But now, when we got a big old notebook, a notebook bigger than this, and so when someone calls, they come on our path, and then what's ours to do? So we don't have the material goods to give them. But we can hook them up. We can give them guidance to organizations that can get them a roof over their head or an apartment, that can get them food, that can even get them money, that can get them the help that they're seeking. And then you know what? We'll even talk with them and counsel them and say, you know, if you want to come in and talk about this, because we look at life that we're the creator. Perhaps there's something for you to learn in this creation. You see, we learn from our experiences. So we stay true to our path. We'll stay on our path and give the guidance, the understanding, the teachings of the Christ to people, to free them, so that they can let go of that faulty thought, belief system, whatever, that keeps perpetuating their life. So we can stay on our path. We can help those that cross our path that are before us. But what's mine to do? Stay on your path. Honor the Christ within. As you honor the Christ within, that Christ love within your heart, you're honoring the Christ within each and every one. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Our world is changing before our eyes because this is what's happening. People's hearts are starting to open a little bit more. People are beginning to look around, and people are beginning to ask questions. People are beginning to ask questions. They're questioning the old way because it doesn't fit anymore. They've got the new wine, and they need a new vehicle in which to use it with. So the Good Samaritan, it's a good story, isn't it? Could you see how they were all on the edge of their seats? Ooh, tell me more. Simple story. Simple lesson. It helps us to make life simple. I feel that's the way life's supposed to be. Simple. And we'll stay on our path, and we'll navigate, and we'll love, and we'll be loved. Let's go with Him. So once again, as we close our eyes and just breathe in the love of this room. Breathe in the light of this room and feel your body being fed, feel your soul being fed. And just breathe. And as you breathe in God's love and you breathe in the light of Christ, just be aware of your heart center. Be aware of that center of love and light, your unique essence. And with each breath, just feel it growing bigger and brighter and more radiant. And just feel your ability to be expanded. Feel your ability to free yourself from belief systems that make us all self-righteous. Breathe and allow that love of God to just move through your body. We cleanse the temple, allowing the love of God to move through, to move out those thoughts, beliefs, patterns, memory that are less than loving. And just breathe and feel those waves of love sweeping through you. And feel your energy getting a little lighter, a little freer. And continue breathing in God's love, and now we're going to have that God love just to begin to wash away the laws that limit our ability to give this love. We ask that this love of God wash away the shoulds and shouldn'ts. To wash away that which would keep us from knowing the love I am. And just breathe and feel your energy getting even a little more lighter and a little more freer. And now we breathe in God's love and feel it moving through, and we ask that this love begin to lift now. Lift our vision of self, our lower self. Lift it up into that awareness of I am. I'm spirit. We ask that the memory be that of firstborn. Let there be light And just breathe and feel that light quickening in each cell of your body, each particle. The light I am. And allow that light to guide our path. Allow that light to show us who I am. Allow that light to show us who we are. Just breathe and feel your heart now expanded. Your heart's filling your whole body. As your heart is just beating the radiant, unconditional love of the Christ, it radiates out through our aura. And just allow it to move through the aura, to cleanse the aura and the influential energies that are in our aura. Allow it to be clear and more receptive to that Christ love. We just allow this love to just move out through all our causal bodies, our mental body, our emotional body. We allow the love to move through our soul, that we get understanding of the purpose I'm here for this lifetime. Oh, my soul, I long to know you. And just breathe and begin to call forth that soul energy in clarity and in love. And ask to see your path a little more clear. Ask to be revealed. What's mine to do here? Individually and collectively. So just breathe and feel the universe flowing to you and through you. Be open to the download from Spirit, allowing for that transformation. Allowing for the ability to honor Spirit in matter. So just breathe and feel your heart. Breathe and feel your unique vibration. How you feel and what you feel. Know this energy. This is who you are. This is who I am. Breathe, feel, and know. Wherever I am, God is. Breathe. Feel your feet on the floor. Your consciousness back in your body, back in this room, this beautiful space of inner quest. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes. So as we go forth this week, ours is to remember, I am. I am child of God. I am Spirit. And as we become self-aware, it allows us and moves us into God awareness. Yea, God.